The work of this year's Siminovitch laureate is never the same twice, and yet it's immediately recognizable. There's that combination of swagger and sweetness, of the very funny and the pissed off. This year's laureate is David Yee. It's actually true. It says so right here, David.
You're sure? No. Yeah, okay. Wow. Oh, sorry. Hi. Could I have a glass of water? No, seriously. Someone get me a glass of water. Thank you. Vienna is a really good thing I went back upstairs for this. Printed on the back of sides for Law and Order Toronto. Thank you. Ted Lasso moment. Wow. Hi. I'm going to read. This is an incredible honor, so much so that I feel it must be verging on a clerical error. Mishka and Bernie and Debbie, I'm so sorry. When I first learned that we were the four, I thought how easily it could go to any of us and how happy I would be regardless of the outcome for whomever was honored. I am just thrilled to be in your company. You are formidable, the three of you, and above that, you are kind. You are the sort of artists that I am honored to be counted among, but you are also the sort of humans that I absolutely adore. I can say the same for each human who has been a part of the Siminovitch process, from Amay and Sam to Patrick and George. I think your kindness and the level of craft and care you put into this celebration is inspired by the kindness and care of Lou and Eleanor Siminovitch. From what I know and what I've been told, I believe that this is the case. If Lou and Eleanor's legacy is that artists feel valued in a way that is so seldom felt, especially these days, then it is in good hands with you. So you have to forgive me as I rarely write in the first person. It's been a sort of theme for me these last few months, having to think and speak as myself and not through a character I've created. Preparing for the documentary we've all just seen was an anxiety nightmare, as I've always been awestruck and envious of those who could speak passionately and articulately about their own artistic practice. When I hear myself try to do those things, my brain tends to grind to a halt. When asked about their art, other people, it seems to me, can situate themselves in the world to a degree I have difficulty doing myself. They know and have the ability to express what they think and feel in a way that escapes me much of the time. This, of course, can't be true. I must have deeply felt and entrenched opinions about many things, as I am a person in the world. How can one live otherwise? Such a person would have the emotional equivalent to stereo blindness. Blissfully unaware of life's complexities and dimensionality. This can't be me. This is how I become at odds with myself, faced with a reality I know can't be true, knowing that I must be more than I feel is possible, but seemingly to myself incapable of reconciling that. And that is how I turn to writing. By writing other people, I begin to develop an acute awareness of my own feelings, my own place. Not as the center, but as an observer and as a caretaker of the center, who is always the character. Being in service of the journey someone else takes, fighting on their behalf in the face of obstacles I also create, curating a world in which my character's stakes are larger than my own. I create a metaphor I can understand for my own life. This is a roundabout way of living, and I wouldn't recommend it to the average person. Save for one relatively crucial detail. The center of that process, it's generous to call it a process, it's more of a pathology, is necessarily empathy. We are living in an age where objective reality has become a contest of opinion. Society's entitlement has outreached their compassion. In place of communities, we have individuals and their followers, each person now a community unto themselves, yet part of no others. We value tribalism over community, judgment over understanding, and intransigence over reason. We have reached peak fountainhead. The act of writing, on the other hand, is fundamentally an exercise in care, which I find interesting since theater is also fundamentally about conflict, which means that as writers, we exercise care to imagine conflict. To do this, we must exhibit an intrinsic understanding of each side of that conflict in our work. We must seek to understand that which we cannot fathom, or worse, that which with which we materially disagree. Every villain is a hero to someone, and so in our work we write only heroes and let the audience decide. This is the only honest way to create, non-judgmentally, with consideration and with kindness. I teach playwriting at the University of Toronto, and I tell my students that there will come a time in the process of creating a play where you must relinquish control to the play itself, when the play will start to tell you what it wants to be. If you continue trying to make it the thing you want it to be, there will be only ruin. If you have been honest with your world, with your characters, if you have understood them and honored them, then they'll go the rest of the way and you just follow. This is what writing has taught me, how to listen to something greater than myself, not just as a way to create, but as a way to live in the world. And so here we are, diametrically opposed to society's preoccupation of the self, in pursuit of greater truths. Those truths will not be found in outrage, or follows, or commerce. They will be found in each other. Or at least this is what I believe. All of that being said, I am only able to create the work I do and continue understanding the world the way I do because I was lucky enough to have mentors who championed me. Without their support, I would have given up long ago. Ron and Lloyd, Jean Yoon, Yvette Nolan, if not for them, this would have been over before it began. And my mother. God help me if I forget my mother. Similar good fortune has also provided me with peers and colleagues I hold dear and collaborate with as often as I can. My co-conspirators at Fujian, Deb Lim and Marissa Orhalo, Ramsey, Joanna, Alex Ponzelen, Ben Simon, Cami, Emily Nomari, Magichi. Though my most enduring, productive, and annoying collaborator in this artistic life has been the blessing that is Nina Lee Aquino. No, you should get that. Nina and I built our careers together from scratch, just two idiots who didn't know anything about anything, though I suspect that she actually did know something all along and never told me. It is not hyperbolic to say that I wouldn't be here if not for her. She is an exceptional artist, a generous collaborator, and a terrible driver. And no one has terrified and inspired me more than her. So this prize in spirit really belongs to the both of us. In spirit, not money. Stephen King said that every time he sees a first book dedicated to a wife or a husband, he smiles and thinks, there's someone who knows. Writing is a lonely job. Having someone who believes in you makes a lot of difference. Now, that in mind, I wish I could go back to my first book and dedicate it to Vienna Hare, because after a long life of not knowing, I am now someone who knows. She believes in me something fierce, and I am grateful for every moment I have her by my side. The sun rises and sets with her. Thank you for this honor. I'll wish I did it all differently tomorrow, but tonight, this is perfect. In the words of Matthew Good, at last, there is nothing left to say.